how she ended. I like the way Dr. Evans in his sermon that Rahab as a harlot did not determine her end. Do you know that what you are right now doesn't mean that you are going to end like that? You could be much, much greater. Much, much greater. So the question is, who are you today? How are you as a church goer today? How are you doing as a member or attender of Delta Baptist Church? How do you appear or stand before God right now? Because when Rahab welcomed those two spies to spy the land, she was a harlot. But that's not how the book ended. She became a great woman. In fact, she is on the list of the women of faith in the Bible. She became in the hall of faith of the Bible. Not so many names in the Bible, but few. Her name is one. She became a great woman of faith. So, who you are today, what you're doing now, that doesn't mean you should be like that forever. You could do much greater things. You can be someone else. You can be a much better disciple than yesterday. You can be a much better witness. You can be a much better servant of God. Because who you are today doesn't mean that will be your end. Some people, they're still the same. Yesterday, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years, they're still the same. You shouldn't be. You can be like Rahab. She started really low out there. David, he was just a shepherd boy, became a king. See, this list challenges us and encourages us that you can be much greater than who you are today. If you dedicate yourself to God. So one thing with Jacob was, when his name was changed, you know what happened, right? He wrestled all night with an angel of God. And of course, that's what we call theophanies. Jesus, before he became flesh, became a man, before he was born in Bethlehem, he appeared as the angel of Yahweh or Jehovah. And that's the one that Jacob wrestled on all morning. And after that wrestling, his life was changed. Even his name was changed. Is it possible that you are wrestling with God all this time? Because God is trying to move you to a higher level, higher plane of experience with God, but you wanted to stay where you are. You don't have to. You can be Rahab, recipient of the Hall of Fame trophy. You can be Jacob, from supplanter to what? The Prince of God. David, from a murderer to God's champion. God's standard. If you just commit yourself to God. See, I believe that when you come to this church, one of these days, God will move you in a better way. Will move you higher than where you are. If you stop wrestling with God. If you stop denying God to live your life. David became God's champion. Solomon became God's wise teacher. Jacob became a great leader. Rahab became a what? A bride for God. A bride. She became, I would say, one of the greatest women that you can think of compared to where she came from. So the question again is, who are these people who are used of God to bring Christmas? Well, they're men from obscurity, they're men from iniquity. But the third one I'd like to say is that they are people like you and me. Ordinary people. There are so many names here that we didn't mention, but let me just read to you verse 14. Who are those men in this verse 14? Asher was the father of Sadok, Sadok the father of Akim, Akim the father of Eliud, Eliud was the father of Eleazar, Eleazar the father of Matan. Who are these men? Are they doctors, engineers, philosophers? Well, most likely they are ordinary people, just like you. And how do we know that? Oh, because these are grandfathers of a lowly carpenter. A lowly carpenter whose name is Joseph, the quote-unquote father of Jesus. This list of names, in verse 14, were the grandfather of a poor carpenter by the name of Joseph. Verse 18 says, now the birth of Jesus Christ was as follows. His mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph. And who is Joseph? Well, Matthew will tell us, chapter 13, verse 55 says, the people, when Jesus was ministering and going about healing people and preaching the gospel and all of that, people were amazed. Who is this man? Who is this guy? Do you know this guy? I said, yeah, we know him. Verse 55 says, is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And his brothers, James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? You see, he was identified, Jesus was identified as a carpenter's son. I don't know about you, but my understanding of a carpenter is an ordinary guy. And this list of names in verse 14 were grandfather, great-grandfather of this carpenter. If these people were great, rich, multi-millionaire, by the time it arrived to Joseph, Joseph will be a rich man. Oh, but he's just an ordinary carpenter. And yet these people, ordinary people, were used of God to bring us Christmas in this world. That to me gives inspiration. That a lot of great things can be accomplished through ordinary people. Some people, oh, I wish I could be this, that, so I can serve God. No, you don't have to be a great prince. You can be just a lowly, ordinary carpenter like Joseph. Yeah. Ordinary girl like Mary from an ordinary village. You know that Nazareth is an ordinary village. In fact, Nathaniel says, what comes out of Nazareth? Not much. That's where these couples live. They live in Nazareth. You see, God is not always looking for wise men, educated men, like Solomon, or a prince like Hezekiah. Hezekiah is mentioned here. Great prince. God is not always looking for those people. In fact, the Bible says, not many noble, not many mighty, according to Paul, or use of God, or called. Most of the time, God is looking, and it has looked in the past, for what? Ordinary people. Ordinary people who are willing to be used of God.
Amen.
That's what Mary said. When the angel appeared to her and said, you're going to be this, and you're going to have conceive as a son, he said, let it be done to thy maid servant. Willing. That's what an angel told Joseph. You should not divorce or put away Mary, because the Holy Spirit is the one who conceived. And Joseph trusted God and obeyed God. Ordinary people. Oh, but what makes them extraordinary? They believe in God for what it says. You know that this Bible is the Word of God, if you believe this and trust God for what He can do in your life, you'll be surprised someday what God would accomplish through ordinary people like you and I. That's why Paul in our Sunday school says, don't judge before the time, because you don't know how God will evaluate your life. You don't know. You leave that up to God. But in your own estimation, how do you think God evaluates your life today? You need to. How do you think you will stand before God someday? Oh, you don't have to. What this list tells us that you don't have to be like who you are now. You could be much, much greater. Because this list tells us that it happened to these people. It happened to people that nobody knows, men of obscurity. It happened to people who did some worse, terrible sin. It happened to ordinary people like a carpenter. God used these people to bring the greatest event that happened in the history of mankind, the birth of the Son of God. Wow! That makes me excited because I bring this boy to school every day last time. I might die next year and so on. I will not see him again. But I don't know what God will make use of this boy. Amen. Now he's going to say, why am I again that you use? Why did you use Pastor Dean? He's just behind me. But that is true. If you allow God to work in your life, amen, greater things that you, right now, you don't understand. Greater things that right now never entered your thoughts, someday when you stand before God, will be revealed to you. I don't think that this man listed here, I don't think that they have an inkling, iota of understanding that their name will be on this list. They have no knowledge that they will be in the line, that they will be one of those that God will use to bring Christmas into this world. You and I knows that because we read it. But this man, they passed away in this world not knowing that. Oh, of course in heaven they will be told, you know what, you're the great-great-grandfather of Jesus, the great-great-grandmother-in-law of Jesus. They will only know that in heaven. Same thing with you and I. Don't feel that you have reached the top or be content over where you are. There are other great things God has planned and in store for you. If you doubt it, read the list again. Read the list again. Because God is doing great things that the world has no idea, neither the people who participate. In summary, question is, who are you today? No matter who you are, God can use you to bring into this world whatever He has planned in eternity past for you. The world might not know yet, not even you or your neighbor or your wife or your husband, but those things that He has planned for you are recorded in God's book. There's something that we can take with us this Christmas. That if you greet somebody a Merry Christmas, you don't know what that greeting will happen to that person. That's why even the devil don't want you to make Merry Christmas anymore. What does the devil want? Oh, just happy holidays. Why? Because that word Christ, that name Christ, could change the life of that person. God can make wonders in your life if you allow Him. Father, yes, we thank you. Thank you for this list. Because certainly everyone in this place can say, I haven't done that kind of thing that some of those people did. certainly, that means you have a better chance to be used of God to do great things in this world. And it should encourage us that just by being here, just by listening to the voice of the Spirit, can move us to a higher plane. And that life can become an influence to somebody out there, someplace, beginning with your own family. Great things God can bring out of your life in this world that needs a Savior. For in Jesus' name, amen.